Welcome back to the Runs Club podcast. Today, I'm joined by my co-founder, Ant, better known as IBD Life. 5 episodes in, it's time for a proper check-in. A proper check-in on why we started the Run Club, what this community means to us, and where we actually hope to take it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 5 of the Runs Club podcast. I'm here with my co-founder, and Andrew's Lockett. It always sounds so professional when we say co-founder. We sound like we really set up an empire here, you know?
Hey, Willis, that's what we're trying to do. I think it's really unprofessional that the co-founder has only now been on the podcast episode 5 and not been here since number 1. But we'll just go over that. That's fine. Pleasure to be on.
Busy guy. Busy guy.
Hey, don't. Yeah, stupidly busy. Not as busy as you though, man. No. So many exciting plans for you ahead.
Fingers crossed. We've got big, exciting plans, and I suppose that's what today is all about, is sharing them with everyone, because we have been so blessed and so lucky with everyone who has followed the page, joined the Strava group, posted their runs. Like, it's just heartwarming, to sound quite cringy, the amount of people who have just decided to get involved. Yeah,
it really is. And obviously this is our first pod, so first and foremost, I want to say thank you to every single one of you that has posted, joined the Strava group, even just liked and commented on some of our posts. It's been so much fun, and obviously, you've done so much of the legwork, getting some amazing, guests on the podcast. But yeah, so what we're going to do today for everyone is kind of do a little back and forth conversation, because obviously Johnny does some incredible podcast series. I also host a podcast as well, which is great fun. So we're just going to ask each other questions and really get into the nitty gritty of why did we start this. So why don't we just start with that? Why did we do this, Johnny? I know why, but what's your reason? Why did we want to get into it?
We wanted to get into this because I think our initial over and back was talking about running, and we were just kind of spitting over and back about it. And then it just developed into, I'll have to go back and check the exact message, but essentially it's the inclusivity of running and how amazing it is to see so many people getting involved and actually taking care of their health and fitness. Because we all know that when we suffer with chronic health issues, energy is such a commodity, and when you have it, to then use it to go and better yourself and try and improve your health through running and cardio is such a good thing to do. And by starting the Runs Club, we've kind of hoped to make a space where we could all kind of come together, share our wins, share our losses, because sharing the losses are just as important as sharing the wins. Because unfortunately, every single person listening to this would probably look back at their life and say there's been quite a few losses, unfortunately, thanks to health. So 100%. Being open and honest with each other and creating a space to be open and honest with each other is kind of where the foundation of everything came from.
Yeah. And I think as well, to add to that, it's to kind of show that, you can have chronic illnesses and everyone's going to be on different points of their journey, but the health is important. And if you are going to get out, start movement, start literally walking around, running around, join the Runs Club. And I know it sounds really silly, but when we started being there's so many people doing Runs Club, there's an opportunity for us to really get people together. And I remember, I don't know about you, as soon as you got out of that surgery, out of hospital bed, what's the first thing your doctor is saying to you? You can't lie down all day, mate. You've got to get moving. You've got to walk. And it's don't walk before you can run. And now we're all in that space where we're right, we've got walking. Now we can start running and do what we need to do. So yeah, man, it's been such an exciting start to the journey so far. And I can't wait to see where we are. Why do you want people to join our movement? What's the main reason?
I think the sense of community, because there's a lot of isolation when it comes to chronic illness, and we all know, we've all felt lonely. No matter how many people could be in a room, you could still feel lonely because you feel that they don't have a effing clue what is going on in your life.
You can swear on our podcast, mate. You can swear on our podcast.
I don't know why I'm keeping it PG. I was cursing on the level. My mom might be listening. No, it's that was essentially it. Was it because I know myself and my journey? I got diagnosed when I was 11 years old, way before social media, and it was very, very isolating. And my whole thought process on speaking online and building up community is the idea that no one should be lonely on this journey, and especially if we're like-minded people who want to do the same things, get out and run and have a chit chat about different things and learn from each other. So that's really essentially it. It's just creating community and creating space where people can just be themselves.
Yeah. And mate, I won't lie to you, we've been so privileged. There's so many people all over the world who have started to contribute to our little IBD Runs Club community. It's crazy. I know, shout out to Owen. I appreciate we've been speaking to you for a while. I know you've been having a bit of a battle with it at the moment, whilst we're recording this. I know you've been in and out of hospital, so sending love to you, mate. I hope all is well and recovery goes well. But that's part of it, right? That's been the whole, I wouldn't really have known Owen that well had we not started this community or started this running place. And I think you're right, IBD, or generally people who have chronic health conditions, it is really lonely. And I I agree with you. Like the whole point of having a strong community is that anybody can get involved and anyone can, even if like, they don't want to do running or like, fastest 5K or whatever we want to do with it. They just want to get out and have fun. They can be part of it, share their story, share their session, do whatever they want to do with it. And then they'll reach out, we'll speak to them, they'll be involved. I think you even said that you got a really nice message or something today from someone who like hasn't actually posted or been part of the community, but then said something like they just wanted
Yeah,
to
I
start
got
running because of what you did.
I woke up to a lovely message this morning from a woman who said that she'd just taken part in her local fun run, park run, and she'd walked most of it. But the reason that she got out, let's go park run, was that she saw the content. And that's exactly what it's all about, is giving each other proof and evidence that, we can all do it. So there's nothing stopping you. It's if you see one person doing it who has a similar journey to you, you can go and do it. The only barrier for entry sometimes is what's in our minds, and just finding the time to get out and do it. So I have to say that brightened up my morning nicely.
What a message, man. What a message. And it's like, I don't know about you, but when you receive messages like that, like how not humbling is it? Do you know what I mean? Like you're just like, someone I don't really know has taken time out of their day to message you to say thank you. And when I look back and the stuff that we do, I mean, obviously, I actually think yours is much more inspirational than mine. I just literally chat shit all day. That's all I ever do.
Same.
But then it's like, but then you're like, I'm not really doing anything, or I don't feel like I'm doing anything. And then you get messages like that, and you're like, clearly, what we're doing is making a difference. And I think that's why you start all of it. It's not for the fame, it's not for the likes, it's not for the sponsorships. It's for one person to be like, thank you for doing what you're doing. I really appreciate it. So yeah. Now you start to talk about your journey there, as in like where it all started. So you said you were 11 before social media. So yeah, do you mind just where did you start? How did it all?
100%. I suppose it's a good route to go, because I suppose letting people know why we're here, what brought us here, is a good way to go. I initially got Crohn's symptoms. I got these red marks around my face when I was 9 years old, and that developed into going to the bathroom about 9. It kicked off very, very early, and then by the time I was 11, I was going to the bathroom 30 times a day. Very severe from a very young age, and unfortunately, never responsive to any of the medication. They threw everything at me. Went as far as being on methotrexate, which is a chemotherapy drug.
Yeah, it's a cancer drug, isn't it?
Yeah. So they threw everything at me. Fortunately, lost my hair, got all sorts of side effects from it as a child. Very, very tough time. Like even when it came to my leaving cert, I think A levels, that your final exams in the UK. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was only in school for 60 days and I signed in late. I think it was 45 times in that. I was only on time for school 15 times in the year for my leaving certificate. So that kind of just shows you the level of how extreme the symptoms had gotten to. And a lot of other things that went on as well. It really affects your mental health. And I probably went down a bad path of being very angry at the lot I'd been given in life, because, we all know when we're teenagers the level of teenage angst that you can have anyway.
Yeah, man.
You throw a chronic illness diagnosis and severe symptoms on top of that. So that was me. I was a very, very angry teenager, and I went down a bad path, unfortunately, but poisoned my body for a couple of years then, up until about 19, and then I rushed in for emergency surgery because my bowel had perforated. I did a lot of drinking, I was smoking, doing all these things. I was just angry at the world and angry at myself, really, for just being stuck in a rut that I couldn't get out of. There was no options for me at the time. But the thing for me, and one thing I'd like to drive home for a lot of people, is that I vehemently refused ostomy surgery. The first time it was ever floated, I was 12, because they said that, we can't get control of the symptoms. There's nothing we can do here. And then the time it really became a reality, when they were like, you won't be alive for much longer unless you get an ostomy bag, was when I was 16.
Jeez. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a rough one. And I literally, the words that came out of my mouth that day was, I'd rather be dead than have a fucking bag stuck to me. And I stormed out of the room, and that was it. Mother and father followed me up the hall trying to speak to me, and I was like, don't bother, my decision's made. I will not live my life with a bag. And that was the decision I made. And for some reason, it's mad how you get an idea in your head. I thought, I'll make it till I'm 26. For some reason, I always had 26 in my mind, whatever it was. But no, it came knocking at the door at 19, rushed in for emergency surgery, literally got to the point where the only reason, not to this to get very heavy, the only reason that I went in for the surgery was that my mother, I saw her heart break in front of me when I refused to go in for it. Very, very heavy moment of me sitting on a toilet seat and her begging me to bring me to the hospital, and I was refusing. I literally told her, close the fucking door and leave me here. And then eventually my father had to come in, pick me up and carry me out to the car to bring me to the hospital. And at that stage my bowel had perforated, rushed in for emergency surgery.
Jeez.
But I love drama, me, make it as dramatic as possible. But Yeah, rushed in for emergency surgery, then woke up with the ostomy bag. And I just was in a daze for some reason. Oh, sorry, not for some reason. The epidural that they put in was put in the wrong place, so I wasn't getting the pain relief. So I woke up in agony, essentially, and the nurse had some measurement of how many times I pressed the morphine button. It was something crazy. I was like tapping it constantly, and they couldn't understand why I was so uncomfortable. Turned out the epidural had been done wrong, so I wasn't getting the pain relief I was supposed to be getting.
God.
Yeah, in a daze. After the couple, I won't say a couple of days passed, a couple of hours passed or whatever, and then I started vomiting uncontrollably after the surgery. So because my bowel had perforated, I was kind of, I suppose, slightly poisoned from the inside is the only way I could possibly explain what happened. Next couple of days were a nightmare. I think they were talking about, I didn't go into intensive care, but it was floated. They were trying to put NG tubes in, all this sort of stuff. Anyway, to fast forward the grotesque part of it, that was the best thing that ever happened to me, without a shadow of a doubt. It was the hardest thing that ever happened to me, but the next couple of months were very tough. Couldn't look myself in the mirror. Really suffered with the head about it. And one day I got the bus from my home house into Galway City, into town. And for the first time, something hit me. It's like the penny dropped. When I used to get on a bus when I was a kid, I used to be freaking out because I would often have accidents on the bus if the bus was a half an hour long and nowhere to stop, because obviously no toilet access.
Yeah, you can't go. Yeah.
This was the first time where I thought, oh my God, I'm not going to shit myself.
I haven't shit myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the penny kind of dropped then. I thought, but this is actually giving me access to life. And yeah, that was the kind of the little bit of a change, or the spark to change things up a little bit. And only a couple of months after that, I went to San Francisco for the summer with my friends, had an amazing time, a trip that I would not have been able to do before that. And especially if I hadn't got the ostomy, because I wouldn't have been around to do it. My life just got better. Drugs still didn't work. Crohn's came back a couple of years later. I had the proctectomy I had the full large intestine taken out and the proctectomy then in 2017. And in typical me fashion, a load of complications. Proctectomy is a nasty surgery. Anyone that's been through it knows it's described as a dirty surgery in hospitals because of the how likely it is you can get infections. Got an abscess. The abscess looked like essentially a shark fin up the middle of my crack. It was madness. And then, so I was at home for days with that. Antibiotics weren't working for it. Eventually, I got very, very lucky. It burst out of me rather than in me. As the surgeon said. Yeah, it was like finally a stroke of luck.
Oh, yeah.
So the surgeon, when I got blue lighted into hospital, because I was in so much pain, I was literally couldn't lie down, couldn't move sideways in the bed. And then I got up to use the bathroom, and it was like just pure relief. I've never experienced anything like it. It was like ecstasy, because I was in so much pain and suddenly all the pain was gone. But then the bed was soaking wet.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah.
Fuck. So I thought that I had shit myself for the first time in 7 years or something. I thought, oh, something's seriously gone wrong. But it was just blood and pus. Sorry to anyone who's listening. That was on the bed.
I think anyone that's listening is probably well aware of all these things anyway, so don't worry too much. This is your first foray into IBD and stoma, lads. Like, God, just ease you in gently. God.
If you've been recently diagnosed, this is from 0 to 60 my life, unfortunately. But if you, that was that really. Got it. Recovery then came after that. Took a long time. Unfortunately, I still have a bit of an issue back there where there's a hole that didn't ever fully heal up. I've spoken to other people that have similar issues. Like, I made a joke post there recently about my ops with Crohn's disease and how the child's pose in yoga. I can't do that pose. It literally feels like I'm going to split open.
Yeah.
Just it does take a long time. Like that's 10 years ago, and it still causes a bit of a problem. But anyway, fast forward a little bit. Crohn's unfortunately came back then in 2022, back in for more surgery. 11 centimeters of my small intestine out. Not as bad a recovery as the previous ones, thankfully, and not as bad of a surgery. Not fun by any means, but it was a quicker recovery, thank God. And yeah, this is the point I'm at now. I'm back here, started making content. Actually, the reason I started making content was I got put in contact with a woman who a friend of mine knew, and she had said the exact same things that I'd said, that I'd rather be dead than get an ostomy bag. And she knew my story. So she said, would you mind speaking to this woman? I said, absolutely, yeah. And it was the first time I realized there was actually some worthwhile information in my head through my experience. I had a chat with her. She got the ostomy. She didn't want to get the ostomy because she was a dancer and she used to wear leotards. She's like, it's going to be so obvious, my life will change. And I said, well, you'll never dance again if you don't get the ostomy. So you kind of have to weigh up what you want.
Yeah, always
We had
on
a
lunch.
beautiful
Yeah.
we had a beautiful conversation, and we stayed in contact for a couple of months after that. I actually haven't spoken to her in a long time. I might reach out to her, but her was life changing. She recovered, went back dancing, gave her a new lease on life because she no longer had to deal with the symptoms that limit us so much. And that's essentially why I started sharing my content. I started sharing it roughly, yeah, after the surgery. There's a few videos that go way back on my page where I literally look like a skeleton, and I'm there being like, IBD. But yeah, and it's been such a privilege for me to connect with so many people like yourself, Ant, and everyone who's joined the Runs Club, because I buried Crohn's and my ostomy as my dirty secret. No one knew about it. Even my own best mates, they knew I was sick, but they didn't really know what was going on. So then to go from this taboo, don't tell anybody, Jonathan, that I was, to telling the whole world about it was like a complete 180. And I didn't realize the beautiful community of just amazing warriors that are out there who are so welcoming and helpful.
Oh,
And
100%.
it's, you really do yourself a disservice by not checking in with the world, is the best way I describe it. To see how other people go. I would have saved myself a lot of pain if I had just Googled Crohn's, like typed it into social media or something, to see other people living their life by example, so you don't have to fight the path yourself. That's what's brought me to this point. So that is a long version of it, but also a short version of it. So if that makes
I know,
any sense.
Johnny, I've got to be honest. Like, what a story. And like, from such a young age, like 9 to 11, like you've had to navigate, becoming a sort of a teen and an adult. 3 major surgeries. They're not small. They're 3 major surgeries. You've had complications. You've been very honest and open, and thank you for sharing that. You said about, drugs and alcohol and poisoning your body, to doing a bit of a 180. And I guess even that point you said then was like, I've got so much to give back because of your experiences. And, there's nothing more, I don't know, like, not grounding, maybe grounding's the wrong word, but there's nothing more sort of like inspiring when someone says like, I'd rather be dead than have a bag. Bag saved my life, like, and it's given me my life, and you've had so many beautiful moments because of it. So look, mate, seriously appreciate it. I really do, because if you didn't have a bag, we also wouldn't be doing stuff like this. I wouldn't have had the pleasure of meeting you, following you, and even hearing your story. So yeah, appreciate it, man. I really do.
Oh,
Thank you
thank you
for
very
being
much.
you, buddy. Because
Yeah,
look, there's so many more things ahead of you that you want to go after. So who's been so influential though in your stoma journey, and sort of just through your general journey?
It's going to be a broad thing, but family, I have to say, the support I have is next level. I wouldn't be here without the people that have literally dragged me up. My
Shout out
mother.
to your mum and dad for that. Yeah, shout out to your mum and dad. God.
As much as there was times where they're like, we're sick of this fucker. Anyway,
Yeah.
no, they have been absolutely amazing. And it must have been so tough for them to have a child that was so sick and nothing was working. Like, I mean, we tried everything. We went to witch doctors to try and get me fixed, because the medication wasn't, you name it, we went to it. Mom and dad tried everything, even things that they knew themselves just was nonsense. I'll never forget, we went to a guy in Sligo, it's a county in the north of Ireland.
I know Sligo. Yeah, I've had an old colleague that came from Sligo. Beautiful part of the world.
Beautiful part of the world. Beautiful part of the world. But I met an absolute devil up there. He had healing hands. It was a recommendation that mom had heard, and seemingly someone got cured from Crohn's with it or whatever it was. So they're like, we have to try everything. Because this was when I was, I think, 14. I literally couldn't go to school. I was just sitting on the toilet all day. We used to have a portable toilet that we used to put in the car. Best present I was ever bought. Granny bought a camping toilet, and every car journey we used to go on, I used to have the camping toilet sitting in the boot. My parents actually bought like a 7-seater. I don't know if anyone remembers them, like a Ford Galaxy, so they could take out the middle seat, put the camping toilet in it, and if I needed to go, we'd have it there to make long journeys. So we went with our little camping toilet up to Sligo to the witch doctor, and the second we all went in there, we were like, what the fuck are we doing here? So that was kind of a turning point where we were like, okay, right,
Johnny, I'm sorry, I don't know why we've done this. Get the
Oh, stop. It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But I suppose you're so vulnerable. You're so vulnerable when you're so sick like that, and there's nothing working or helping, and you will try anything. And my parents tried everything they could, and that's why I have to say they have been the most influential, because they didn't leave a stone unturned for me. And the amount of money that they would have spent, and even for the time off work and all the things. And like, I've 2 other siblings, the focus was constantly on me. And that's something that I've spoken to both my siblings about, is how everything was about Golden Boy, when it was more like, Golden Boy didn't want the attention. But unfortunately, that's the problem. And any family that suffers with someone with chronic illness at a young age in it will understand the pitfalls of trying to navigate time and attention for kids. Well, my parents did it, and both my brother and sister would say they have no issues and no problems, because mom and dad were very good at accommodating absolutely everyone, and that's
Yeah.
why they definitely have been the most influential. They've supported me through the whole thing. They have literally dragged me from the depths of despair back to the boy I am now, who can so openly share his story, and they're happy for me to share, because that was one thing actually when I started talking about it. I was like, are you sure you're okay with me giving everyone a window into our lives? And they were a bit like, well, we didn't realize you were going to go this deep into it, but anyway, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Didn't realize you're going to tell everyone about the toilet seat in the
Yeah,
car.
or the fact that we got duped by witch doctors, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of that's where I'd say for me. But for yourself, would you like to share, I suppose, some of your IBG journey to get to this point?
Yeah. No, yeah, of course, man. Mine, in comparison, I think I've got ulcerative colitis. And this is probably where my head always goes, is I hear people who have like stories like yourselves, and I always feel like, not that I'm an imposter, but like mine wasn't, or in comparison, and I know you shouldn't compare. Mine was all like, mine's been like, no, not as bad as others. So I was diagnosed 18, 19. So I started university. Quite similar to you, like just young adult, first time living away from home, then just started getting like really bad, just the shits, like really bad. And I just put it down to like first couple of weeks university, going out drinking, like literally every night, drinking, having a laugh, and then being like, yeah, this is it, right? This is fresh as week. I need to not do this as much. Let's calm it down a bit. But things just got worse and worse. I remember going to the toilet like, 40 times a day. I think I clocked 34 times in a day once. And it was like passing blood, everything like that. And I remember going to the university doctor. Like, yeah, it's probably just diarrhea, mate. Just, you're a student, have some Imodium, you'll be fine. And then nothing cleared it. I went home at Christmas, spoke to my mum and dad about it. And they were like, you just need to go to our local GP, see if that helps. Went to him, no real help. And then it was kind of like, right, now you're on the IBD wheel of fortune, and you have no idea where you're going to land, because you may get, it's completely normal, or here's a diagnosis, or here's a referral. Like, and that's what it was. And it was just, let's play the game. Let's see what happens. I was diagnosed about 8-9 months later. Did everything from, going to the doctors as you would do from normal NHS perspective. They were useless. And not unkindly, they weren't specialists. So they were like, well, we've tested your blood. There's nothing irregular. You don't have cancer. You don't have like anything that we're like, these are crazy markers. It must be a diet. So we tried everything, smoothies, low FODMAP, did it all. Nothing worked. And my dad said, look, just let's see if we can go private. Ask for a referral, and let's see what we can do. So I went to a specialist. He was like, yep, we'll do a colonoscopy. We'll do it about half an hour. Like, we'll do it in like tomorrow, whatever it is. And then you'll hopefully have some sort of diagnosis. Had it. And it was like, cool, you've got ulcerative colitis. Awesome. Great. What's that? Oh, it's just a condition. Have these medications, and then it will calm down. And I remember being really naive, thinking, great, that's going to be it. Like, I'll have these little white steroid tablets, and I'll have this one big mesalazine thing. That'll calm down. It'd be great. And I played, I guess the only way I can kind of describe it, and so many people who are listening to this or even have this as their own experience, is you play the remission backwards and forwards. So you'll have periods where you're like, things are going back to normal, and then your body, this disease goes, no, lol, and you're like, I'm unwell again. And you're like, hang on, but nothing's changed. Like, what's wrong? Like, I'm taking all of the medication. What's wrong? And then you go backwards and forwards. My consultant said at the time, this is very much going to be like trial and error. Everybody's different. We will give you like we'll take a little bit from here, move a bit from there, make sure it all balances out. And then it's just stuff to stop working. And then you go further and further up the tree of medicines. You have like mesalazine families. Then I went on to things like azathioprine. Then I was offered methotrexate, but then I didn't have it. I then moved on to biologics. I had cyclosporin. I had a few other things that were like, let's have some transfusions, let's do this. And I was sitting in a ward where like chemotherapy patients were, because you'd sit there for 6-7 hours on a transfusion. And I think at that point, and that's where it really started to hit me, to be like, I'm actually not well. I know it sounds really silly when you present the evidence, but I guess like yourself and others, you've very much put a brave face on, right? You just crack on with it. And also like talking about, I shit myself all day. It's not really something you bring up in conversation. And you genuinely look okay externally. Other than possibly losing a bit of weight or like not feeling great, it's invisible. So no one's like, oh, well, you look unwell. So I just started talking to my consultant, like, so what's the next steps? Nothing's working for me. I can't keep having these medications because I'm getting so many side effects. It's hurting me. I remember getting really bad shakes. So I was on cyclosporin. Um, when I would not, I'd get angry about something or I'd be quite passionate about it. My hands would shake like that, just properly shaking. I was like, what is wrong with my hands? This is weird. And then my hair would fall out and I'd just been like, this, I'm too unwell. This ain't right. So I just spoke to my consultant and said, what should I do? And he went, well, there's a number of options. We try Vendamizumab or another exotic one that hadn't quite come to market, do a clinical trial, or we cut it out. And I went, could we just cut it out? And he was like, are you sure? And I went, well, yeah. I see this as like I've got a gangrenous hand. It's not going to work. Like, you know, it's not working. Can we just cut it off? I still have a quality of life. Just get rid of it. And I think like he said to me, like, yeah, it's fine. We'll do whatever you want to do. You are in the driving seat. And it was kind of said to me at the start, you shouldn't have surgery. That's like the last stage. And that was always where I went. Had the surgery in 2020. And that was 11 years of trial and error, pain, being very unwell. And then, yeah, I had it in 2020, just before lockdown, literally a week before lockdown. Had to have a second surgery to have it put into place, refashioned, wherever it was. Because, yeah, like the first one, the doctor was like, your abdominal muscles are quite big. So he was like, it's a bit of an odd thing because most of the time people don't have such a strong core. Your core is really strong. So it's just clamping down on your stoma, so it keeps like blocking it. And I was like, I don't know what you mean. So we would get nurses in to be like, look, just stick your finger in this gentleman. And they were like, wow, you have a really. I was like, guys, buy me a drink. Come on, now what is this? What is this? So those are the complications. He was like, look, I've got to make the hole a bit bigger. It's like, you do have like risk prolapsing and hernias, but we'll see what happens. Fortunately, I think everything has been okay. It's been a bumpy road. Like I've had blockages, I have had prolapses. But I look back and go, this life, I've got everything that I never thought I could do. A bit like you. I was very fortunate that I met my now wife 2 weeks before I had my surgery. And I was like, I just laid it all on the table. I was like, look, I'm going to have major life-changing surgery in like 13 days. I'm just here for a day. Like, I want to meet my best friend. I want my my life partner. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, whatever. And she stuck around, mate. She stayed. Yeah, we're married now. I'm literally speaking to you in my house. And had I not had that surgery, that never would have happened. I never would have met those parts of life. And I think to your point and to your story, it's when you're at your worst, your lowest, that then, like for me, this surgery and your surgery changed your life for the better. And I've never ever looked back. So yeah, I love my bag. I love the fact that it's given me a life. I love the fact that we can do podcasts. I love the fact that we've started a runs club all based around IBD and bags and shit like that. So there you go.
That is such a beautiful story. And before I circle back to your decision, how beautiful it is that you met someone who is so beautiful, like a beautiful soul, to see past the superficial side of having a bag, life changing surgery. She probably didn't have a clue what that was going to be, because obviously anyone who's not in the circle is not going to know. But what a beautiful woman to just to be willing to stay and learn. Like, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I just want to, I just want to commend you as well to have the agency and the wherewithal to just be like, cut it out. I'm sick of this. I'm done. Because it's something I didn't have. I was fearful. I built up a false narrative and a false reality in my head of what life could possibly be. But you were willing to take it head on and be like, right, whatever it's going to be, I'm ready to tackle it, and I will make do with what becomes. So it's a fantastic thing and a real strength of mind to do so. And it's brilliant to share that, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are kind of in that seesaw of thinking, should I not? What am I doing? What quality of life? And you battled it for 11 years, but then said, you know what? It's time to try something new. So that's fantastic.
But it's really kind of you. I personally saw it as it's a gamble. I'm just going to see what happens. I don't think it was necessarily agency. I'm just like, well, I've got no other options. So fuck it. Let's see what happens. But the reason why was because I spoke to so many other people when social, like Instagram, started to really work well, I think is the right way to say it. I had so many people that were just like, they've got a bag. So I reached out to them and said, like, would you recommend it? Like, tell me about it. And they all said, yeah, it's the best thing I've ever done. And there's two very close, well, I say very close IBD friends that I have. Fortunately, I'm actually going to get them on, couple of them on, hopefully for podcasts in the future. But we met up in summers, a couple of years before I had my surgery. They showed me their bags, like how it works. And they were like, yeah, and it was so helpful that I was lucky enough to meet them to understand it. And then I was like, you're living an amazing life. Like, yeah, life's great. And I was like, well, then why am I worried? Do you know what I mean? Having that ability, and that's where social media works well. You connect with someone, connect with people. That's what, then made my decision to do this. I've been very fortunate to then sort of grow, my platform, my following, and other things, because I'm very much the same. I just want to give back, to be like, look, everyone, it's not as bad as you think. Everything's actually pretty spectacular. Everyone's on their own journey. Everyone will be different, but I'm just so thankful and grateful that I've been given the opportunity to start what I want to do in my life, and just where I am now.
Fantastic.
There
Such
you go.
beautiful sentiment. Yeah. And it just speaks to the power of social media. I know we all bitch and moan about social media and brain rot, but social media has been life changing in so many positive aspects like that. The fact that you could reach out to someone to get real lived experience and meet them and everything. And I have an IBD friend. It's so funny. It always reminds me of that thing from the Inbetweeners where it's like, oh, football friend,
Yeah. Oh, shit, friends. Oh.
Yeah, but it's fantastic, and there's such an amazing community. Like I've gained, like I've met you through this. I've met Owen over in just like virtually, and it's fantastic the conversations that you can have with people. Like the fact that we can come on here, spit our life stories and some of the most harrowing stuff that we've been through, and say it with a smile, and say we can say the positive that has come out of it. Like so, yeah, I have to say it's a beautiful thing that has come from all the negativity that has been spun into a positive. So yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that with us, man.
Okay, mate, same to you. I mean, don't get me wrong, there'll be people listening. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Life with a stoma isn't easy. Like, I'm not, but don't get me wrong, there are points that it is so much better than it ever was. But there are days where I sit there and go, I hate this thing sometimes. And I'll give you an example. Sometimes my stoma just gets really big. Like, it can be like the size of a golf ball. It's massive, and it just sits like on my stomach, and I like, it's huge, man. And what is this? And I get so frustrated with it. I get very body conscious about it. Like even yesterday, I was walking with my wife just round the thing. My bag's like just stuck out like that. And I was like, dude, like, what is this? Like, and it's so frustrating. But then I sit there and go, actually, it doesn't matter. Like, I shouldn't be so vain in that sort of sense. And I guess that's something that's going to take me a little while to I probably never really will get over it until I'm probably older. But yeah, that's always been something that's been on my mind. But that's what, I don't know, like there's lots of things we're figuring out on our sort of journey. So what are you still figuring out? What are you looking at trying to navigate at the moment in either your stoma journey, your fitness journey, because you're massively into fitness as well?
Yeah, and fitness was never something I loved playing sport when I was younger, but unfortunately that was taken away from me from my health. And I was always relatively good at sport until I suddenly wasn't anymore. And I remember not getting picked for teams and different things and thinking, I was really good. What happened? Chronic fatigue, brain fog, it all limits you. As I remember I used to do stupid things on a football pitch. I'd be like, I kicked the ball to the wrong person. And I'm thinking, what is going on here? I suffered really badly with brain fog. But that is probably why now that I have my health, I really want to step back into what I used to love, and that was fitness and testing myself more than fitness, I suppose, is the best way to having the privilege to push your body and embrace pain in the sense that is a chosen pain as opposed to enforced pain like we all have to go through. And that's what I'm loving at the minute, is that I get to test myself to the best of my ability, not to the point where it would be detrimental to my health or anything like that, but that's what I'm loving at the minute. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, push the envelope, see what's out there.
Completely. Like I feel my body's my friend now, whereas before I used to hate it. I used to despise my body. I used to think, why am I weaker? Why am I less than? All these sort of things. And even as yourself, like I suffered really badly with being able to look in the mirror and having the stoma, and like that, seeing it pushing forward under a t-shirt, I used to freak out thinking every single person who's in this room knows I have a stoma. No one's looking at you. That has been the biggest thing for me, is that no one pays any attention whatsoever. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the minute now. Is kind of, I won't say finding myself again, but embracing my body as my friend now, as opposed to when it used to be my enemy. And that's kind of the journey I'm on at the moment. And that's with mental health, physical health, everything like that. And as part of that, I want to share my journey and eventually possibly turn my pain into a purpose. Like that's why I started the podcast. That's every time I spit a video, I'm always thinking to the 16-year-old me who stormed out of a room and said, I'd rather be dead than have an ostomy. And that's every time I open my phone and speak, that's the guy I'm talking to, because I know there's definitely going to be some young lads out there. I've spoken to a lot of them on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that in the same position. And I just think how I live my life, I wanted to be proof that that concoction and that false reality that I had created in my mind is a false reality. And that's essentially what I want my purpose and my thing going forward, is to lead by example in a sense, because I get to learn from so many other people and people in my own life in actual, like, not in the virtual world, that have taught me so much. And I want to be able to pass on my lessons to someone else who may need them. So that's kind of it for me. How about yourself?
Mate, so like just incredible. And I think it's brave of you to say that, but also brave in the sense to be like, you want to say that to your younger self. And I think like there's so many people that go, well, why are you doing this? And you've already highlighted the person or people in who may have even be going through where you have been, to like literally go, you know, it's not as bad as you think. Like, people are out there. There's lots of help available. Just start talking and reach out. And I think, honestly, mate, like, I'm gonna get emotional, man. Like, it's so inspiring. But God, flip the neck, man. It hits
We're going
home.
in the
It really
trenches
hits
here.
home. But yeah, I think yeah, and I think just on that as well, like, to your point, you're not actually alone. And that's where social media works really well. Even if you don't on social media and you've got friends and family members, like, it's about just being able to have that conversation. And that is hard. I don't get me wrong, it's going to be really hard. But if you can find somebody that will listen, and we're all here, like everyone is here. And I think that's where social media works well. Everyone can reach out. And I try my very best. I will get messages from people that I don't know. And I'm like, hey, how are you? Because yeah, they may be in that position. They may be in a really dark place. And if it's like, yeah, I may not be able to offer you the advice that you're looking for, but I may can help and just be like, look, at least I can listen and try my best and see what I can do. I think that's
Yeah.
like, you know, and that's, what are your top tips for people, or not people, but you said you were struggling with your health and mental health and body image and things. What's been, if you reflect back, what's been some tips that you would give or possibly share with others that are struggling in that space?
I went to counselling, and it was the best thing that I ever did. And the first person I went to counselling with was my mum's best friend. She was a psychotherapist, and she knew me since I was a kid. So she saw the really happy young kid I was before I got sick, as she described the monster I turned into through my teenage years. And I did turn into a bit of a monster. I was fighting, drinking, all these real negative habits. So she saw the transition of this child into what he became. But the first steps into going to counselling were the things that started me on the path back, opening my mouth. Now, going to my mother's friend, the only reason I went to her because I wouldn't go to anyone else. Mom was trying to get me to go to other people, etc. It was a good intro into it. I eventually then went to someone who was more detached from my situation. So this woman was able to plant the seed for me to see. I didn't really see it very easily, but everyone kind of forced me. They were like, you need to go do something about this because you're causing problems. To go to someone who is completely detached from your situation and vent and get it all off your chest. It's very hard to talk. Like, I can talk very openly because I have practiced, but the first few times I went to do it, I was quiet as a field mouse or I was roaring like a psychopath. There was no in the middle. I couldn't speak about it coherently. And in another sense, to get coherent about things is to write things down in front of you. Just start writing and see what comes. And when you think you have nothing left to write, just write down something innocuous and see where it brings you. Because when you get your thoughts out in front of you, you can actually see that they make any sense. And for me, the body image one and health things, getting it all down in front of me and reading it back to myself to really understand my thoughts rather than allow them to just float around here, bouncing around, being the driver of negative behaviors. Put them out in front of me and see, do I actually believe what's on this paper? And if I do, how can I change my mind about it? And that has been the best thing for me that I've done is going to someone, talk therapy, meditation, breath work, all little things. Now, I'm not a guru or Mr. Namaste here. Like, you know, I still enjoy my pints of the weekend, but journaling and counselling would be the two main things that I have done to overcome the obstacles in my mind when it came to my health issues and the stoma.
Mate, that's really good advice. And like, also, just like on your story, it may, like, you were what, young, then it makes sense like why you were angry, because everything that was in front of you was taken away of you from an illness that you can't get an answer to. You're not getting, you know, help for, because you're trying everything and it's not working. So it may in my head, like, I can see why that then started to happen, right? And the fact that you were then, you know, persuaded to a certain point, but then strong enough to go to counselling, to then start to write things down, to then take that like ownership of, well, if I want to change, how am I going to do it? And it seems very simple, like just speaking and talking, but I can imagine like those first conversations, as you said, was difficult because again, it's probably, well, I've tried everything from a medical perspective and nothing's helping me. So why should I go and listen to someone that don't really care about, or you're someone I don't know, you ain't going to get me. So yeah, I can imagine that would have been quite challenging.
Yeah, it was horrible. And even to anyone who's listeners, I went to people and never went to them again. You'll get a vibe off someone. Now, I would say persevere for maybe 2 or 3 sessions, but after that, you can make a decision to say, all right, maybe this person's not for me. That doesn't mean that talk therapy or counseling or whatever avenue you go down isn't for you. You just maybe haven't found the right person to. Like, sometimes energy is a thing. Absolutely. I completely believe in. And you kind of, a bit like Goldilocks and the porridge, you know, you'll find the one that's right for you. You just got to keep trying it. And I can put my hand up and say testament to it has changed my life compared to the boy I was to the man that I have become, because I allowed myself to be vulnerable and took the steps to actually make change. And sometimes if you can't do it for yourself, do it for the people around you. Because sometimes we don't have enough
Yeah, man.
self-worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the biggest thing for me. When it comes to my why, I spoke about it the last podcast with Jack. I didn't have enough self-worth or self-respect or want to change my life because I didn't see any route out. But I knew I was hurting the people around me. And as much as I was in such a position where I was kind of like, I don't give a fuck or whatever, you still do. They're your family and they're the people around you who care about you. And if you're hurting them constantly, now, obviously, people listen to this might not be doing any of the things that I was doing. They might just want to work on their mind and improve their mental health. But yeah, I would definitely recommend talk therapy, journaling, and just taking the first few steps to do it.
So powerful. Like, seriously, thank you for sharing, because there will be so many people who are in your position that may just stumble upon this podcast, and that will massively help. I really like the journaling thing, because I started journaling a couple of years ago, not for like many reasons. It was more just, generally life and stress and all those sorts of things. And I've actually found it practicing gratitude. And it's like, what am I grateful for today? At night, this is going to sound so cringe. Every day, I'm like, I'm grateful for my wife, my life, and my health. Like every day, I'm like, but I am. Do you know what I mean? Because it's what my life's given us. So, look, we've looked back, we've reflected on like our journeys and our sort of stories and where we've got to now. But what's the future? What's the future holding? Not just for you, but like, what's the vision of the Runs Club?
The Runs Club is going to be a global powerhouse with Saturday fun runs every weekend for
Take over the
IBD.
world.
Like with this, as although we say it's for ostomates and it's for people with IBD, this is for anyone who wants to get moving. Do you know? We have people in our lives. My mum has come out for a run with me. Do you know, not in the sense that she doesn't have IBD or whatever, but you can bring people with you when you do these things, and that's the whole part of it, is getting everyone moving. The reason we just want to be IBD and ostomates to be our spearhead, and then everyone else can follow on by our example, because we do have a tougher
100%.
road than other people. Yeah, and if someone's just at home because they're just not feeling like, or they haven't done fitness in a while, you can be the light that shines to open the door to get them out and just lead by example. So that's my hope, and I'm pretty sure that's our hope for the Runs Club.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And I know it sounds silly. I know we've joked like, global domination or whatever, but it is a movement, not a bowel movement, because that's too much of a pun, but we want a movement of individuals to get, it's a slow burner, but I liked it. There's a, full of dad jokes, not dad either, that's the worst thing. It's just literally just to get people up and about. And I think it may be like what sort of spurred me on quite a lot was before my surgery, I was really into fitness. And then after surgery, I've sort of gone backwards and forwards with it quite a lot. And I think a lot of that's not just down to body image, but like life's busy, like finding time, those sorts of things. And then when we started talking about this, I've been massively into park run. I've seen people do like sponsored events. I went, why can't we do that? Why can't we do something like, not a race for life, but why can't we do something like that for IBD people or ostomates? Or how can we do it wider? Can we create our own parkrun event? Can we do things? Because it's so accessible. You can just get outside. You haven't got to run, you can walk. And I've been very fortunate enough I've met so many people on my journey that have started getting into running. There's people that you and I have influenced around the world. And I have to be honest, those first couple of days where we had people go in, oh my God, what an amazing thing. Like I've just joined, and like, it's so heartwarming, but I just want that to carry on. And I don't want to do it for, right, let's make a company. Let's do this. I just be around about having fun, getting outside, sharing the experiences, good weather, story, good vibes. And then as long as we put many toilets along the way, it'll be
That's a fact. Portaloo's sponsored by Portaloo.
Well, it would be a running route that's just littered like that, just with Portaloos the whole way down.
But that's it. And because we all understand the journey, even if we were to do something like that, we know how we could make it as accessible for everyone who wants to do it. And that's the fantastic thing about getting like-minded people with similar journeys and similar wants to come together, is that we make it as accessible as possible. And I know for the next while it will be virtual run, and we'll do another challenge. And we have to announce the winner of the last challenge, because I had dropped the ball on that. I meant to do it weeks ago.
So have I as well. But yeah, we have got a winner, and we will announce it as a post, and we will send you an Amazon voucher. We still haven't decided the figure yet, but it will be like, I don't know, 25, 40 euros, something like that. But to sort of say thank you for not just your hard work and efforts, but like just being part of this journey. Johnny, I think you got the fastest 5K, let's be honest. I'm pretty confident you did it. But as you're a co-founder, you're automatically disqualified from it because it's rigging the event. The co-founders can't win it. God, the optics are terrible.
I cheated. I did it on a track, No, it was
I
great
don't
to get
mind,
out
mate.
into.
I see it all the time, but you're like, I always think this is coming for me. What, your recent post? And then it's like 18, 50. Mate, stop it. Stop it.
Going sub 18 next, that's the plan. No,
God.
it was great motivation to get out and do it. And even when I was on the 3 kilometer mark, and I remember thinking, why the fuck am I doing this? This is torture. But that's it.
Still
It's just
faster than you am.
dust off the shoulder. But it's fantastic. Like, I love that so many people actually entered. So many people actually got involved and decided they want to do it. And isn't it kind of surprising when you start something that, I don't know, that there's people like get involved and you're kind of thinking, oh, nice one, this is brilliant. As you said, it is heartwarming. But we're definitely going to get some more challenges in the next couple of weeks going, because we really want to build on it. And we want to build up the group and get people chatting and sharing their experiences and learning from each other. Because there might be someone sitting at home on a couch now, post-surgery, or dealing with a bad flare, who's thinking, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. But to see someone else who they know has been on the journey doing it, that's what it's all about.
And if you're interested and you want to join up, we'll put our Strava link below. Please follow us on Instagram. We'll probably start doing things like TikTok as well, like sooner rather than later, if we were going to start those sorts of pages. YouTube channels will be going. We'll be getting these podcasts more regularly on Spotify and anywhere else where you listen to your podcasts. But I think the goal, like for the next sort of 6 months to a year, I'd love to have as many people just join. Just join the club. Wherever you are in the world, just say hey. Me and Johnny will always say hello. We'll give you kudos. We'll comment. We'll hype each other up. Just get moving. And then more events will be coming your way.
Yeah,
So there you go.
fantastic. And thank you so much to everyone for just being part of it and listening to this podcast, because it's great. I love it. I love having a community of people who you can come on, have a really open conversation with. And like that, if there's anyone who would even like to come on the podcast, or anyone
Yeah,
that you would
please
like
do.
to see on the podcast, just drop a comment, shoot us a DM. Absolutely. Make a video going for a run. The more content we put up, the more people see it, and the more active our members are, the more people that we can reach. So we really appreciate the support.
Spot on. 100%. And it doesn't have to be a run. It could be a walk. It could be wherever you want it to be. Just get out, get moving,
Get out.
and be part of the movement.
100%. I think that's us for today. Have we anything else we'd like to finish on?
No. Thanks all for joining. Thanks for being part of it. And yeah, just watch this space, because it's going to get even better.
Absolutely. Big things coming. Let's go.
Let's go.
Deadly. We will all see you, not next week, the week after, every second week. And we'll see you on the Instagram page. Thank you all very much.
See you all the best. See you, everyone.